Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to show you how to do all the maintenance on the Mova P10 Pro Gen 2. And I'm also going to give you my 3-month real world test results. So in this video, we're going to show you how to clean the mop pads, the filter, we're going to change the side brush, we're going to change out the dust bag, clean the base station, reset everything inside the app. At the end of it, we'll see if it gets the Just a Dad sticker seal of approval. Spoiler alert, it definitely is. But there's a few minor things that the Gen 2 kind of removed that I really do. I still love the Mova P10 Pro Gen 1. Now I did purchase this robot vacuum cleaner and all the accessories you're going to see in this video with my own money. I am an Amazon affiliate. If you click on a link that I'm going to supply on my website, justadadapproved.com, or in this video description, the product's not going to cost you anymore, but I do earn a small commission from the sale. Now, I do have OEM parts and generic parts. In today's video, I'm going to be putting on some generic parts because I found a really good generic brand. Now, it took me a day of testing all these different generics, and out of this, I was only able to find one that was actually good, this KTN8. Again, it's going to be on my website, justadadapproved.com. Now, if you have trouble finding Mova parts, which sometimes the OEM parts are hard to find, Mova and Dream are the same. They have this kit, it's $99. It's for the X40, the L40, and the Mova P10 Pro. Now on my website, I'm gonna update all these these are weird names. I'll have all this on my website, hopefully within a month I'll actually review each one of these generic ones. But the main thing I found was the filters are usually okay, the dust bags are okay, but the mop pads are where they lack. And same with the brush roller, they don't have foam, so you're gonna get more long hair wrap. As you can see here, here's an OEM mop pad, and most of the generic ones are just a little bit smaller, not quite as good. And same with the brush roller. The OEM has foam in here to help prevent long hair wrap, and these do not have foam in them. Now, if you wanna save money and get the filters, they actually have good filters, side brushes, so you can actually still get these kits. Just don't use the mop pads. Now, before we get started, it has cleaned a total of 6,000 square feet, 168 hours of use, and 78 cycles. You can see here, it has had a very good cleaning history. Global cleanings. This is my house. It's done a good job of navigating. It relatively always gets back. Once in a while, it may be bothering me and I tell it to go home or something, but this has had a very good track record at my home. I also have my 3-month real world scorecard, pros, cons, all of this information I'm going to talk about today, but I'm also going to have it on my website. Basically, overall score of 4 out of 5. Now, it's going to come down to about three things that I absolutely love about it over the Gen 1, and 3 things that are different or not as good. The first one is the front sensor. This does not have a camera, so if you're worried about privacy, this is actually a good robot. But since it doesn't have the really good optical avoidance sensor, the optical avoidance isn't as good, but mainly this comes into play navigating your home. So when this robot is at your house and it's cleaning your house, I programmed all these maps, or I took screenshots of these maps compared to the Gen 1, and ChatGPT told me that the Mova P10 Pro Gen 1 is more efficient. It has a tighter cleaning pattern. It doesn't take as long to clean your home. The Mova P10 Pro Gen 2 is not as efficient, uses a little bit more battery. It gets the job done. It's just because it doesn't have this sensor on the front, it has to navigate a little bit more in your home. That's not necessarily a bad thing, not like it's getting lost or anything. It just has to do more going around your home in certain areas. Number 2 thing is they took the dirt detection sensor out. So when the water is sucked up into the dirty water tank, the P10 Pro Gen 1 has a dirt detection sensor. They took that out, but they actually improved the mopping on this. So the mopping from these mop pads is a ton better than the Gen 1. Now, they actually have a mechanism pushing down these mop pads, which I think helps. And they also clean them with really hot water, which gets the mop pads a lot cleaner so that they can clean more. So a little bit of a trade-off. It mops better, but you don't have that dirt detection sensor, which it tells the robot to go remop an area. And that's really about it. It's got really good suction. I absolutely love this. This is definitely going to be a Just a Dad approved robot at the end here. I'll show you all my scores and everything, but let's get started. Let's do the base station first. And again, I'll have All of this is going to be on my website. So here's the dirty water tank. We've got to take it to the sink and clean it. It's really dirty. Here's the clean water tank. Typically, there's not a whole lot to do in the clean water tank. There is a little filter at the bottom of this hose. Sometimes it needs cleaned, but you can rinse these out. You may get hard water deposits in here or something. You can put a little vinegar, but that's going to do it for up here. And another thing that's really good, this docking station, I have not cleaned this area. It has stayed relatively clean, you can see. Now, the filter, I'm going to take it out and clean it. This area has stayed clean. So this, while I do have to do maintenance on this of taking this filter out, and you can see there is quite a bit of dirt down here. There is a procedure, which I'm going to show you, that we can do it in the app where the robot will undock. It's going to put water down here. We can scrub this and then it sucks it out. But I'm definitely going to have to take that to the sink. Now you're going to have your base station, where you normally have it. This is the first thing you're going to do to the robot. You're going to go into settings, find dock settings, washboard auto clean. Start cleaning washboard.
Start cleaning washboard base. It will take about 45 to 60 seconds.
Now, in this procedure, the robot doesn't undock or anything, but it does kind of get everything soaking and ready to go. You do have to have your clean water tank full, dirty water tank empty. I'll put a link to this. This is on my website, justadadapproved.com. This is from Walmart for $5. Okay, so it's going to go right into drying. We're going to do one more thing though. Okay, so on the P10 Pro Gen 2, there is no setting for it to undock, scrub the area, and then it sucks it up. I thought there was, but there's not. But that's okay. We're going to get a little bit of this spray solution. We're going to spray it down here. That's been wet from earlier. You can just take a rag and scrub that. Okay. Or let's put the robot in and see if that'll do it. Go back to dock settings and hit clean, start cleaning the washboard again.
Start cleaning washboard base.
Okay, let's see how it did. Yep, not too bad. It's going to be easier just to get in there and wipe that out now. Yep, that's all clean. Again, this area stayed relatively clean. Now, we're going to turn the robot off until we're done. Hold the power button for about 5. All right, it's off. We'll turn it back on and then we'll reset all the maintenance reminders. Okay, let's take a look at the dust bag. Now, the solution tank, I've been putting Shark Vac Mop solution in here, and I've also been putting the Shark Vac Mop solution in my clean water tank. And it's been doing a really good job. Now, simply just pull this lever and this whole dust bag, see how that covers it, and then it comes out. That thing is completely full. Again, 3 months at my home and I have pets. So I get asked all the time, do robot vacuum cleaners work? Well, I'm going to cut open a dust bag and show you. These things actually do a great job. The fine dirt and the hair that they get is pretty incredible. Wow. There's like a big hairball too it got. But I'm just impressed. See, I could have left that in there a little bit. It kind of compacts it towards the back. I like that it gets big popcorn chunks. Our dog brings in cedar chips. Robot vacuum cleaners actually work. The Mova P10 Pro, there's from the early testing at the studio. And you can see this is at my house. So, the Mova P10 Pro Gen 2 actually does a really good job of vacuuming my home. Okay, so this is that generic one that I showed you. It feels really good, like it's nice and thick. Okay, so we're gonna put this in, we're gonna slide this, see how the opening is open. We don't want that slid like that, so make sure it's like that. There's a track here. Push this down. That should be flush right here and here. Sometimes this will get caught over here or like that, but it should just be nice and flush. Make sure the bag's not in the track. Then just sort of push the bag right here like this. There, now you're ready to go. Put this on, make sure that's nice and flush. All right, let's switch gears over to the actual robot. This is just a lint-free cloth. Again, everything that I'm using in this video, the parts are on my website, justadadapproved.com. I have a section for maintaining robots. Make sure the bumper is free. Sometimes popcorn kernel seeds can get down there. There's another, anytime you see like these glass windows, these are sensors. Around back, that's actually a sensor. This is the charging point. This is where it fills the robot up. Make sure, again, I'll put a link to this in the show description notes. This is just a really good blower. That's a LiDAR. Make sure nothing's underneath there. It looks in good shape. Let's take a look at the dustbin. Now the dustbin, you should have been doing this every couple weeks. I actually have started doing this more often at my home because I want it to have better suction. So if you wait a month, you're just going to lose out on suction. It doesn't necessarily ruin the robot, but this filter gets extremely dirty. And this is the number one thing I tell people to do. Wow, that thing's so compacted. See how airflow can't even really go through that? Get an extra one of these filters because these are reusable. You wash it, let it dry in the sun or on a heat register, but if you have an extra filter, you can put it in here and you're ready to go. It's picked up a little bit of wetness, so we're going to clean this. We're going to pay close attention to this trap door. It did really good. Yeah, overall, the dustbin filter, or the dustbin's in good shape, but we need to clean it. That and the filter. There's the auto empty port. You know, you just kind of look in there, make sure nothing's blocked. Mop pads. All right, these just pull straight up. Now, you can get a little bit more life out of these by putting these in your laundry. This one is pretty, got a lot of dirt in it. Here's what you can see, there's what a new one looks like. But I can get a little bit more life out of these, putting these in the laundry. These are in relatively good shape. Sometimes you have to wash these, but we're gonna wipe this down, but this stayed relatively good. This is where the solution comes out. Drive wheels are in good shape. We've got more of these sensors. These are the Cliff sensors. Again, these little glass windows here, here, and here. This is a carpet sensor. You don't want to poke that. Mine's in really good shape. You could take a cloth and lightly wipe that in there just a little bit. You don't want to, that's a very delicate sensor. My wheel is spinning free, but there doesn't appear to be any hair around it. If there is hair, you can poke that wheel up, but be very careful. That's very fragile. Only do that if you have to. Now let's take a look at now I put my standard standard brush in. I do recommend upgrading to the tri-cut brush. This thing is completely dirty. We're gonna wipe this down. Make sure we stay clear of this membrane. We're gonna wipe this membrane, but that's a really thin piece of plastic that because this moves, if that breaks, or something, I thought I broke it, but that's just my fingernail. If that breaks, that kind of ruins the robot. Now, the side brush is designed, long hairs are designed to go to the end and down here. So we're gonna pull these off, pull straight out. You may have a bunch of hair right here. I think I've gotten mine out once already. Pull this out. Nope, it did really good. The long hairs will gather right there. All right, let's take this off. Now, these are one of those items that I've had a hard time. Sometimes they like to fall off after you so this is the original one. You want to hold it. It's just a #1 Phillips. The screw stays with it. Pull this up. You want to check, make sure there's nothing. You might have some long hairs here. Don't pull that out. You can't pull that out now. You could put these in hot water to kind of refresh them, but I've got quite a few missing hairs. So here's my generic one. Now, it's kind of like a gear, but tightening this screw, these things like to fall off. And I'm not sure what the trick is other than just make sure that screw is really tight, but you want to be careful not to break it. So here I'm screwing. It kind of came to a stop. Now I'm going to go a little bit more. Right about there. If it falls off, the screw usually stays with it. Just tighten it a little bit more. We're going to wipe all this down. We're going to take all this to the sink. So everything I'm going to show you over here, again, I've got on my website with links, justadadapproved.com. My brush we're going to use, I really do love the scrubbing bubbles. I think it just helps so much. This is the floor cleaning solution I put in my robot. This is probably the most satisfying part of the job, is cleaning this filter right here. You can clean it with a vacuum. I found this works really good. You don't have to use chemicals. It just takes a while to dry. Wow, that cleaned right up. We're going to get some stuff soaking. This dirty water tank gets really dirty. You'll be very surprised how dirty and you can even use some of the Dawn dish soap for scrubbing stuff too. Ooh, strong. So you'll be very shocked. See how much dirt comes off of that roller? Now, if you have the tri-cut brush, you can't get it wet. There's certain things you can clean. I have a separate video on that. This has a sponge in the end, which that needs to dry. But this really helps the performance. Oh yeah, we're going to throw that away. The door needs cleaned. That filter was really dirty. The dustbin. See how this brush, it just works. It gets in all the crevices. I've tested probably 20 different brushes. And I didn't think I didn't think brushes mattered, but it does. This one cleans the best. And this is the main reason I got it, is it gets the sidewalls. Make sure you get the seal up here, all of this. And I got a little trick or hack to prevent odor that I'm going to show you here in a second. All right, now let's rinse all this off and we'll dry it off. Okay, so the cleaning trick or the hack is Effordent tablets or any Denture cleaning tablets. Every time you empty this, throw one of those in there. It's going to dissolve. It kills the bacteria as the water comes up. I also have another video if you don't want to do that every time. There is a little cartridge, an ionizing cartridge you can install, lasts about 3 or 4 months, cost about $12. Again, all of that on my website, best upgrades for the Mova P10 Pro, justadadapproved.com. Now we're going to focus our attention to the robot. That's just a damp cloth, no soap. Concentrate on where the water comes out. It's almost a little too damp, but this is in really good shape. Now down here, again, I'll put a link to this blower. It's on my website. It's just the best little thing. Turn it on. Again, be careful of that. All right, we've got all the dust out. Now we still have to wipe this area. But again, that membrane, I can't stress enough, be careful. So that's the most fragile part on the robot, is this membrane. I never broke one, but all right, this robot is in really good shape. Wheels look good. Yep, we're in good shape. So if you're in a hurry like me all the time, this little blower does great for blowing off. You can get the filter not all the way, but you can get it a lot drier. It'll dry a lot quicker. You know, you can blow all this out. Again, that foam really should sit outside. But you can really get these things. I have gotten them dry if you spend a bunch of time using it. Time to go back together. Now again, this is the tri-cut brush. This is one that's been used for a while. But this actually does, if you found that this old one was getting a lot of hair wrap, upgrade to the tri-cut brush. Sometimes it's on sale for about 20 bucks. And in that kit, that KTN kit, this is what comes with it. It's a generic one, and the generic one is almost identical to the OEM one. So this is definitely, it just simply drops in and you put the cover on. No, you don't have to do anything. Now we need to pay close attention to the dustbin. There's a few things. When I was cleaning this got pushed out. And so that flap should be letting air in. So push the flap like this so that whenever it's auto emptying, air is able to go in this way. And there's also another, I thought this was pretty clean, but it actually wasn't. So put your finger in here, lift this up, and you can see there's quite a bit of hair up under. This is super important to keep this is the trap door. If that starts staying open, you're going to lose suction. Okay, now let's get the filter. Again, you can reuse your one. Mova has a black filter. I think it's got carbon in it. I don't think that makes that big a deal. The Dreamy one is white, but the Mova one, yeah, I don't think it matters as far as color. And again, this is the generic one, and then you're going to put it in. It has a little magnetic thing there. So it goes in like that. The seal goes down. It's angled. But here's the big thing. Close this. Make sure this is flush. I'm going to put the standard one in. Put it in. Rotates free. Get the door. Put the front feet in first. Kind of wiggle it. clicks in. Here's a trick with the mop pads. These didn't need cleaned. These are magnetic, so it picks up little shavings if there's little shavings on your floor. Now, here's the OEM one. No, this is the generic one, I'm sorry. It's just real, it almost looks like ODM. So put it on, center it up, but make sure you engage that Velcro. I have seen with the Velcro's not engaged, it'll flip off. And then you simply just, these can go any which way. Engage the Velcro. If this is spun down and it won't stay engaged, you may have to turn the mop pad. When I turn it, that comes farther out and then it can stay engaged. Sometimes when they're down too low, you put it in and it keeps falling out. All right, we are in excellent, excellent shape so far. All right, lift this up, dustbin. There wasn't anything to clean down here. Nice and flush, nice and flush. Don't forget about this. I could have cleaned that a little better. I just can't tell you that stayed really clean. I was not expecting that. They say this is the self-cleaning base station, which it is. This part stays really clean. There might have been a little bit of residue on, this is a heating element that heats the water to a really hot temperature when it's washing the mop pads, which that's one of the nice things about this robot. Okay, turn the robot on. You have to hold that button for about 5 to 7 seconds, or you can just put it in the dock and that'll also turn it on. We're going to open up the app, click the settings, scroll down, accessory usage. Okay, so the filter it's got 53 hours left, so I washed it. Again, that's when it needs replaced. Eventually you will have to replace it. I can get about 3 months out of them. Confirm, so I shouldn't have reset that timer. Side brush, I had a little bit more remaining time, but I went ahead and replaced it. Main brush, it's got a lot. I'm not going to reset it because all I did was clean it. Sensors, this thing comes up all the time, so 30 every 30 hours. Mops, replace as needed. Omnidirectional wheel and dust bag is all replaced. So now everything's reset. Now it is time for the official ceremony of the Mova P10 Pro is just a dad approved. Let's go ahead and add the official seal to the actual robot. Okay, let's go over the official scorecard. 4.5 hassle factor. This is one of the easiest ones to set up. That could easily have been a 5. Mop performance, one of the best I've tested. It pushes the mop pads down and washes the mop pads with really hot water. Carpet cleaning can be upgraded to the tri-cut brush. Hair tangle with the tri-cut brush, it does really good. The only 3 I got was navigation is not as efficient. Again, not a problem. It's just not as efficient. If that makes I did not learn that. ChatGPT had to tell me that. I gave it both maps that showed how it cleaned each room. I had the Mova P10 Gen 1 in my home and the Gen 2. It compared the maps side by side and it said, well, the Gen 2 has a different obstacle avoidance sensor on it, so it's not as, the cleaning pattern took longer and it wasn't, you could tell that it was kind of making extra turns and stuff. So overall score 4, it's just, now, is it going to be the best robot ever? The cost was, I paid $650 for it. I think it was $498 here recently when it was on sale. That's an amazing price. Who's this for? Well, if you're concerned about privacy, this is for you because it has no camera. If you want a good mopping robot, and it's good for homes with pets that don't have accidents. So there's a caveat here. Again, this is a great robot for if you have pets, but if they have accidents on the floor with the obstacle avoidance sensor that is not as good, it could run over an accident. The Mova P10 Pro Gen 1 has a better obstacle avoidance sensor, but it's not 100%. So they took some things away. No camera, no dirt detect sensor. When I did the test, the Mova P10 Pro, the water tank from the Gen 1 to the Gen 2, the Gen 2 had a lot more dirt in it. So that right there told me it's mopping better. Washes the pads with hotter water. I think that helps. App is easy to set up, low cost to operate, which I'm going to go over here, and it's easy to clean the dock. Well, that was relatively easy, but it does keep it pretty clean other than that filter. Here's the spec sheet. 26,000 pascals of suction, side reach for the mop pads, spin and lift. It doesn't leave them behind. Corner reach for the side brush. Main brush it's a single, but can be upgraded to the tri-cut brush. Yes, it has a onboard water tank, no camera. Optical avoidance was just a pass. It didn't get like a really good score, just a pass. No threshold really. 12 newtons of downward pressure on the mop pads. That's the key why you might get the Gen 2. And the 1 hour eco dry, really hot temperature for mop washing. No dirt detect. It does have a solution tank. No tray removal, but Mova, that tray's really stayed pretty clean. And again, all these sheets are going to be on my website. So, cost to operate, dust bags. They're $7 a piece. You need 6 of them for the year, so that's about $42. Filters, you're going to need 3 of them. Side brushes, 3. Mop pads. This is OEM prices. They do sell an OEM kit for basically $100, but you're going to need 2 of the kits for $200. Now, I left solution is around $48 for the Shark vac mop solution. So, and then this generic KTN aid comes with a bunch of stuff. You're going to need 1 of those a year. You'll need to buy some extra bags. So I had to add a little extra money in. About $80 for generic. So cost to operate. OEM, $20 a month. Generic, $11 a month. So you can see it's going to be somewhere in that range, 11 to 20. This is one of the lowest costs to operate. Again, I do like OEM stuff, but we can definitely save some money. I'll put a link to it. It's the KTN kit, KTN aid. And you can see I'm going to be putting in all the links so that this will all show up on my website. So I really did like having the Mova P10 Pro at my house. Again, I really wouldn't even have known about that inefficiency unless ChatGPT really looked at the map and kind of told me what was going on. I really didn't notice a difference. I was expecting it to get caught more. The only thing I did notice is once in a while it would be making some weird turns, or it might be making extra turns when it was kind of in a room. That's really the only thing I saw. And then that kind of ChatGPT did confirm that. So again, thanks everybody. I still love the Mova P10 Pro Gen 1. It's still an amazing robot. It's $400 right now. That price point is just so hard to beat. You know, does this clean $100 better? Well, it does mop better. It actually does mop better. There's no doubt about it. You lose the dirt detection sensor, but maybe they thought since it's just mopping so much better, it's not going to need to go back. But I sure would like to have that. Gen 2, yeah. I'm probably going to stick with the Mova P10 Pro Gen 1. But again, Gen 2, if you're worried about privacy and you want something that mops extremely well. I'm just so excited about the website because on my website, it's going to have everything I did here with all the parts, the lists and everything. Right now, my website's a little basic. I created it on a weekend, but I've hired a team. We're developing the website. And the main reason behind developing this website is for you. It's to get you the information. This is what I do for a living. That Mova P10 Pro, I do have a bunch of videos on my website and parts and generic parts and all the stuff that I'm talking about. Most of it is there right now, but in the future, more of it's going to be there for you. So again, there's going to be comparison tools. And then when these shopping events go on, when Amazon has their big sales, I'll be putting up the live pricing on there. So again, justadadapproved.com. I do appreciate everybody's support. If you do purchase a product off my website or from the video description on this YouTube video, I do earn commissions. I am an Amazon affiliate. That is how I make my living. I do buy these robot vacuum cleaners with my own money. I want to get you the best robot for the best price. So if you could, please like, subscribe, and thanks again.